Joker 2 is a bad film, but it's interesting because I would say it's 3 or 4 scenes out of its 2 hour plus runtime that ruin it. Cut them or rewrite just a few things and it's maybe a masterpiece. Joker 2 being a musical is a phenomenal decision, truly one of the best ideas in all of filmmaking. Unfortunately, it's a pretty bad musical with random disconnected numbers that don't reveal anything to the audience. Most of the music has them singing about their characters, but it's things the film has already demonstrated, so it's a redundant time waster that is at its worst in the rooftop number. I don't even know what most of that song was because I skipped through it, but it was so disconnected and poorly placed with like no value to the song narratively speaking. Right, so the false escape attempt singing is a super awesome choice. Arthur breaking into song in the interview, it's not an artistic representation of the movie, it's actually happening in universe, is brilliant, but at the same time, a lot of the music is redundant and repetitive and drags and sucks. So the idea was great, and when it works, it elevates the movie to incredible heights. There's good stuff, and then there's the rooftop scene, which was unbearable, and I flat out refused to sit through it. Speaking of, the makeup scene? Todd? Buddy? What was going on, man? The drawn out beyond belief makeup scene in isolation could tank the whole movie. It's that bad. But on streaming, you can skip. After they have sex, which is incredible, not because of sex, but because it enables Harley to later tell Joker she's pregnant, which is incredible script writing, so fantastic and amazing. If you know Harley and watch the film, you know why that's such a great decision for her character. Finally, the explosion. It's a really, really bad way to get a really, really important and amazing scene. The mechanics under the hood are to get Joker and Harley together with a chance of freedom and living the rest of their lives together in reality, instead of their shared delusion. Folie à deux. This is hands down the most important scene for their characters and relationship, and really the whole point of the entire film, which is the character of Harley and her desire for delusion. Let's put a pin in that for now. We'll get back to it when I explain what's great in the movie, but for now, the explosion comes out of nowhere, feels really bad for the audience when you're watching it. My fix for the out of nowhere explosion would be Joker's being walked to the courthouse after being found guilty, the mob of fans attack, something we've already seen and we've been hearing about and aware of the entire movie. Arthur runs off and no more than a block from the courthouse finds Harley. They have their conversation, then Joker's caught because he didn't run very far. He just walks himself back to the courthouse and gives up in the face of the mob of the Joker fanatics, giving up as Arthur Fleck, ending the delusion and fantasization of this murderer. Back to that pin, their conversation and Harley's whole character, the entire theme of shared delusion and what she wants is the delusion, but Arthur, who's been feeding into it, ends up wanting it to be real with her. It's beautiful. Concept and characters, and I would say execution if not for all the previously mentioned flaws in the film. I'll just briefly touch on some critiques of when it came out. 1, Arthur doesn't play the Joker enough. He does play into the delusion for most of the runtime, so as an audience, that's a dumb complaint. Narratively, as a product, I think it's mostly the character you all loved from the last one, but it explores Arthur more and the mental aspects more. It's honestly the perfect use of the characters I can even comprehend, giving the people what they want while also having a good moral stance and perspective on the actual matters you're dealing with. But who gives a shit about the Joker? This is a Harley show. Harley and her writing in this movie make her a peak character. Harley wants a shared delusion with Arthur. Bloody hell, it's the title of the film, possibly best in all film history given the script and the characters and style. Now, it's certainly not the best movie or execution, but the title for what the film is about and does is peak. Harley is an engaging character because she wants Arthur to go full tilt 100% hard into the delusion of him and her and Joker. Harley lives for the dissonance between what you say and act like will happen versus the reality. She never ever for a second or even in the slightest ways wanted Arthur to go free. Not a molecule in her body wanted that. She wanted to play in the delusion of it. To say they'll live happily ever after right up until the lights go off and Arthur's fried in the chair. Harley's brand of crazy and psychosis is so understandable. And I don't mean reasonable, I mean you can get how she thinks and what she wants. You know she was lying about being pregnant, and it brings up questions of, is that why she even had sex with him in the first place? Not out of love or desire, but to add this card to her deck. Another one to play into her delusion. It's manipulative and crazy and so flippin' engaging. Lady Gaga is great casting. I assume it's her performance, but it's also the direction given to her and most importantly, the script she's reading. I think if the concept of shared delusion interested you at all, Harley is the best representation possible for Todd Phillips' Jokerverse, whatever. I think a great microcosm of the film is the escape attempt where neither Harley or Joker have any intent at all, in the slightest of ways, of actually escaping or even trying to get out. What they're doing in the musical number is playing into the delusion, and they're both doing it, which is why Harley falls for Joker. The musical nature emphasizes and elevates the fantasy and delusion aspect of it, and in the end they jump onto the gate in front of the cameras, playing the delusion to everyone else they were trying to break out. Even though it was never reality, it was all a shared delusion between them. It's great. The musical choice elevates the fantasy of it, the shared delusion, Harley's character is also great. In conclusion, just skip the bad stuff, watch the good stuff, and it's definitely worth watching. Thanks for watching. Bye. Oh yeah, also the dude at the end is obviously not Heath Ledger's Joker.